We all know tobacco is bad for you, but do we know all the facts? Tobacco use is the leading cause of unnecessary death and disease in the United States. 1 in 3 cigarette smokers will die of a smoking-related disease. Smoking cigarettes is known to cause 13 different types of cancers and is a major risk factor for heart disease and lung disease. 1,500 people in the United States die every day from smoking-related illnesses. That's over 500,000 people every year. Although the percentage of adults in the United States who smoke cigarettes has decreased since the 1950s, new tobacco products such as electronic cigarettes have been attracting new users, and particularly youth, to tobacco and nicotine use. Electronic cigarettes vaporize a liquid, known as e-liquid, turning it into emissions that are inhaled. They are known by many names, including vape pens or vaping devices, e-hookah, mods, and tanks. Electronic cigarettes or vaping devices can look like a regular cigarette, pen, or flashlight. You can buy them everywhere, on the internet, in grocery stores, gas stations, and vape shops. They are marketed by electronic cigarette companies and tobacco companies as safe. But what we know is electronic cigarettes usually contain tobacco and nicotine. Nicotine is the substance in tobacco products that make them addictive. Electronic cigarette vapor has been shown to contain many of the same cancer-causing agents as traditional cigarettes. Electronic cigarette vapor also contains ultrafine particles, which can get into the lungs and cause irritation. There is no evidence electronic cigarettes help people quit smoking. In fact, most people who try using them for quitting end up using electronic cigarettes along with traditional cigarettes, increasing their nicotine addiction. And guess who is making the money? The tobacco companies. Youth vaping has been shown to lead to cigarette smoking. More teenagers now are using electronic cigarettes than any other tobacco product, including cigarettes. Use of electronic cigarettes by youth have increased by 890% from 2011 to 2014. The nicotine in electronic cigarette liquid is toxic, and calls to poison control centers about electronic cigarette poisonings have increased by over 500%. The vaping devices themselves are dangerous, and the battery has been known to explode, causing serious burns.
Hi John, I'm Sherry.
In the next section, you will learn how you can help your patients get started on the road to quitting tobacco. The first step requires that we correctly identify patients who use tobacco products, including electronic cigarettes and vaping devices. In Alabama, 1 in 4 children in high school are current users of tobacco products. Sadly, the children who are more likely to use tobacco often have parents who use tobacco. The use of electronic cigarettes or vaping devices among youth is as high as 29% of high school students, with an astronomical increase since 2011. A hospitalization is an opportunity to identify youth who use tobacco and intervene before they become lifelong users.
So John, we ask these questions of every patient.
At Children's of Alabama, all children who are 13 years or older should be screened for tobacco use. This is currently done on admission with the nursing intake form. As the most common tobacco products used by children are electronic cigarettes, otherwise known as vaping devices, the option to select e-cigarettes or vaping devices was added to the nursing intake form. Another new tobacco product commonly used by youth is hookah, also known as water pipes, and this was also added as an option to the tobacco screening on the nursing intake form.
I need to ask you some questions about using.
In order to obtain accurate information, we recommend asking the patient without the parent present, being careful in how we ask the questions.
Hi, we're the nurses that work.
For instance, we would not do it this way.
Ask you a few questions. John, you don't smoke, right?
Well, no, John would never smoke.
No, never.
We want to approach our teenage patients in an objective and compassionate way to help patients and parents understand the importance of discussing tobacco use. Here's a good example of performing a tobacco use screening with a teen.
Mom, there are some questions we'd like to ask our teenagers by themselves. Would you mind stepping out of the room for a few minutes?
Well, why do I need to leave?
In order to give your child the best care possible, we need to obtain the most accurate information. We do this with all of our teenagers and not just with John.
Okay, whatever you need to do.
And Mom, I'll come get you in a few minutes.
Okay.
So John, we ask these questions of every patient, and everything that I ask is going to be confidential. That means that it's between you, your doctors, and your nurses, unless that you state that you want to harm yourself or others, then I have a legal duty to report that to someone.
Okay.
I need to ask you some questions about using things that can be harmful to your health. Have you ever smoked a cigarette or used other tobacco products like cigars or dip?
Well, I smoked a cigarette one time, but I didn't like it, so I stopped.
How about other tobacco products like electronic cigarettes or vape devices?
Well, I vape on the weekends, probably once or twice with my friends, but they told me it's okay and safe, so I do that.
How often do you use the vape pen?
Probably just once or twice a week, mainly on the weekends with my friends.
What kind of e-liquid do you use?
I use the lowest type of nicotine in it, or at least the least that they have, because I just like more of the flavor instead of the actual nicotine.
Okay, thanks for being honest with me. It's my job to help you be as healthy as possible. So many people don't know that electronic cigarettes have cancer-causing agents and toxins in them, so we know they're not safe for kids.
I didn't know that. I probably won't use it anymore then.
Good. I'm glad you're going to quit vaping. I have some brochures I'm going to show you.
At Children's, we want every child to live their healthiest life possible. By intervening now and providing information and education to stop nicotine use, we're making a positive impact on their entire future.